I got a controversial one. Black women. So currently, only 30% of us are married. Within our lifetime, only 61% of us will be married. Compared to all other races, that's low. And I saw a post where a woman was asking why us Black women are the least desired as far as being married. In the comment section, it was just a lot about attitude. We got attitude. Although in a lot of cases that is true. But my take is it's the same reason why Asian men are least desired. Either of us fit a certain mold. Because you have the spicy Latina. She's got attitude, but she fits a certain aesthetic, a beauty standard. Don't get me wrong. I think Black women are very beautiful. And Asian men are handsome. But we don't fit the mold. Controversial take. Black people tend to be seen as masculine, which is a benefit to the men, but a disadvantage to the women. While Asian people are seen as feminine, which is a benefit to the women, but a disadvantage to the men. Doesn't mean it's true. I'm just saying. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me. That's okay. There's also other factors why Black women aren't married at the same rate. Even culturally, is marriage something that is pushed in our community? Almost like it's discouraged, actually. Do we actively seek healthy married couples in our community? Ask them how they do it, how we can emulate it, what it takes to be a good wife, a good husband, how we could be better, especially if we weren't raised in an environment where we saw a healthy marriage. You have socioeconomic thing, ratio of men to women. Black women tend to get married later in life. There's other factors as well. Although most people just say attitude, I'm not denying that talking point at all, but it's multifaceted. But that's what I think. Now, this is just my opinion based on what I've read. So don't come for me. Come for each other in the comments. Now, what do you guys think?
Statistics in the US show that a large percentage of Black women are unmarried compared to other groups of people. And why is this? We were going to discuss and give our thoughts about the same. I'll give my 2 cents on the same, and I hope to engage you in the comment section so that we can share this. If you've not subscribed, kindly subscribe to my channel. If you've subscribed already, thank you so much for your support. Let's watch the video up until the end.
Hey guys, good morning. So I have a real quick question. I have been seeing like trending all over social media, TikTok, Instagram, these Black men that say that they refuse to date Black women. Not that they prefer to date other races, but they refuse to date Black women. What's wrong with us? Why y'all don't like us? What we do? Is it because we're too attitudey? We're too headstrong? We're too much all like this? Is it really that much better with other races? Because let me tell you, when I watch Snapped and Dateline and Forensic Files, the majority of those female killers are of a different race. I won't say what race because y'all know, but they are of a different race. So why don't some Black men want to date us? Look, let me know.
You can go to school, but you cannot buy class. That saying is a saying for a reason, because no matter if you go to an Ivy League college, no matter if you get the fanciest degree where you are earning $300,000 a year, the environment in which you grew up in, the social network that you have acquired during your adulthood is going to play into you having a certain standing societally. And that standing can impact the person that you are partnered with negatively. The timing couldn't be any perfect for this conversation, in addition to a piece of content that I just seen where a woman that works in statistics broke down the fallacy of the well-known statistic that we all know in regards to Black women being the most educated. That statistic is not a blanket statement. The study was done in comparison to Black men. So Black women are the most educated in comparison to Black men, which means that Black women have been dating outside their class if we're keeping it within like a socioeconomic, like your net worth, if we're keeping it like that in your education. Black women have already been doing that. We've really had no choice but to do that. Especially also, Black men are also the most incarcerated out of any demographic. Black women know what it's like to go on ahead and give men the exception, knowing that they are not at the education level that they are at, knowing that they don't come from the same socioeconomic background, knowing that they don't come from the same type of environment. I am college educated. It only took for me to deal with 2 blue-collar men for me to decide that I would never deal with them again. Because on paper, when we're talking income to income, I matched a lot of these blue collar workers that were making six figures. But the level of intellect and understanding that these men had when it comes to how you're supposed to carry yourself, the class consciousness that you are supposed to have when you go around certain people. Like, one time there was a guy, he makes six figures, blue collar worker, invited him over. I'm in a beautiful, beautiful subdivision. HOA is strict there. This man parks in the wrong direction. He parks in the wrong direction. And I go out and I look at his car and I'm like, and not to mention he didn't even have a car. He had this big fat ass truck. So not only are you parked in the wrong direction on the wrong side of the road, you have this big ass truck that is an eyesore. And now you're parked outside of my place. We have an HOA. Like, you can't just be parked outside any old type of way. The people are going to find you here. But even though he was making six figures, guess where he lived? He still lived in the fucking hood. He still lived in the hood. And so he didn't have any concept of understanding, like, oh, there actually is a certain type of mannerism, even with parking, that you have to have, especially when you go to places that are affluent, when you go to places that have some type of prestige. And this is what a lot of women struggle with when we decide, you want to know what, we're going to go on ahead and give the men that are a chance. And it kind of reminds me of the movie ATL. ATL was propaganda to have women that actually come from a prestigious or prominent upbringing with being in a higher social class. It propagates women to feel as though it should be normal for you to deal with a man that is from the hood just because you love him. And the thing about it is that these men are going to resent you for doing that because they don't even see anything worthy in themselves. They don't even see anything good about themselves. So although they will admire the fact that you're with them, although they will enjoy the qualities and the benefits that they get from being adjacent to you, they are going to resent you because they're going to be jealous of the fact that you got to have certain experiences that they never got to have. You got to have a leg up when it came to you having certain type of people that you got connected to. You know, you having certain opportunities that were afforded to you. And they never had that opportunity. And they will lash out on you and they will make you pay the price for being able to have something that you didn't have any control over. You didn't ask to be born into the family that you were born into. And even with like Nelly and Ashanti, even that, I don't know where they stand as far as like economically, like net worth, toe to toe. I don't know where they stand. But you already know Ashanti comes from an upbringing where you already know she didn't struggle. She didn't struggle at all. She has a very close, tight-knit family. Nelly is from the trenches. His people are still in the trenches, which is the reason why he wanted her to move to the trenches. I'm not saying that like they live in the trenches, but what I'm saying is that he wanted her to walk away from the upbringing that she has, the great upbringing that she has with her family, and go over to his family where they didn't come from anything. He's the breadwinner. He's the one that is supporting everybody. She comes from a family where everybody they're able to support themselves. I mean, her mother is her manager. I mean, they were able to have a leg up in things just due based to like where they were socioeconomically. And you can see the sacrifices even with her relationship, the sacrifices that she has to make just simply because she's giving a man a chance that does not come from the same class as her. It is a detriment to women, especially Black women, to ever do that.
Black women are the most unmarried human population on earth because of their unrealistic standards. The S got cut off and there was a lot of stuff he said, but that's facts. I'm gonna have to agree with that. Why I'm agreeing with this is because how come I'm tall? I'm 6'2". I got nice chocolate skin and I'm very attractive, but barely get any black women. And I thought this is the type of build y'all black women want. And I get barely any chicks. I have tried Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok DMing black women for years with different approaches. And I get zero from my state, Minnesota. And the ones that do respond live outside of my state or they live outside of the US. Instagram and TikTok, majority of them don't respond and they don't follow back. I live in an all-white city, and so I have to go to the cities near me to shoot for black women. And in the past, I pulled most black women I approach, But unfortunately, I get ghosted a lot, which is odd. Because why would you give me your number or social media, but not try to get to know me? A lot of them don't even try to get to know me. They just ghost me after little conversations. Or I try to plan a date and then they ghost me. Like, what was the point? It's hard for me to just even hit. And I'm 19 with 0 bodies because black women give me no play. I'm very attractive. I'm 6'2". I got nice chocolate skin. So what about other black men that is not as tall as me, and that's not as attractive as I am, and that's not dark skin? You see why dudes date or marry outside of the race? Y'all black women play so hard to get.
I don't know why it's become so socially acceptable for people to just say this to black women. First of all, that's your opinion. So I'm just not really sure what that even means. But all this hate speech and all of this bullying and attacking black women online for having an opinion is interesting. And it's sad. And I don't think black women, I'm not really sure why people are so hostile against us. Maybe it's because we're so regal, beautiful, and powerful. I don't know what he means by that. Can somebody, like, what does that mean? And if it, I know it's not true, whatever it's supposed to mean. But what? That sounds dumb.
So the ruling is in. Here's the 3 top reasons why black women have the lowest marital rates. We are uncooperative, we do not listen, and we have the nastiest attitudes. And unfortunately, y'all, I agree. I agree wholeheartedly, 100%. But let me say this. It does not make me happy. Seeing those comments did not make me happy at all. But it's the reality of where we as black women are. That we have created this narrative based on our actions, our behaviors to be these unruly women when that is not our history. So many women try to sit on this app and in conversations and try to paint this picture that black women have always been loud and ghetto and ratchet and overly provocative and over sexualized. Like, that is not our history. And I wish we stopped with that. Like, we have to stop taking away credit for the women who were feminine, women who were very elegant, had class, had dignity, were not loud, were not super aggressive, were able to stand their ground, but also be very feminine at the same time. So I know y'all didn't like the polls. I know y'all didn't agree to hearing men primarily and women point out why black women have the lowest marital rates. It always goes back to us. I know we don't control who proposes, who pops a question, but you have control over if it happens based on your actions. Don't forget it.
I'm going to tell you like my grandma told me. It's because we like ourselves. It's because we like ourselves. They cannot do anything to us to take away our joy. They can't do anything to us to take away our confidence. They can't do anything to us that makes us feel like we're not going to make it through. We know we're going to make it through because our ancestors did. Anything that you could do to a group of people have been done to us. And because we know that, because we know our ancestors survived much worse, we know that we can. They sang during the worst of times, so we can sing now. They laughed during that. We can laugh now. We like ourselves. And that's, if other groups of people, if they had to go through what we go through, they would not make it. And they know that. So they don't understand why we do. They don't understand how we can still laugh through all of this pain and turmoil. All the jokes that we made about how every day the world's falling apart, and here we are skating and double dutch and playing spades and line dancing and having a good time. They don't understand how that's happening. You see the farmers out there in Kentucky or Nebraska, wherever, they are having a horrible time, and their suicide rates are 3 times the national average right now because they can't take it. They cannot take what we can take. Not only can we take it, not only can we endure, we can also be happy while we're doing it. We can find joy while we're doing it. That's why black people always will be like, we don't take anything seriously. or we make a joke out of everything. In every situation, we make a joke because we know how to have joy. We figured out that life is about having fun. And people will look at that and they hate it. They hate it. They say that we're lazy. They say that we are, uneducated and stupid and everything, childish, immature. But the truth is they are jealous. They're jealous because if what had happened to us happened to them, they would not be as happy as we are. They would not have figured out a way to still have joy. And they hate us for it. They hate us that they cannot do anything to us to rob us of that joy. And you know why? It's because they didn't give it to us. So they can't take it away.
Black people were not taught the same dating scripts or socialized to date the same way that white people are. From a young age, white people teach their children how to build successful relationships with the opposite sex. They allow their teenagers to have boyfriends because they see dating as a way to build a social skill. They are taught formal dating etiquette, asking out, picking up, flowers, dinner. Courtship is a rehearsal for adult roles. They are learning how to be providers, wives, and husbands at a young age. The goal is to produce individuals who can replicate proper pair bonding. So the outcome is you have a bunch of teenage relationships that are modeled as mini marriages. It is a rehearsal for future domestic contracts. Whereas Black people do not teach their children formal dating etiquette. Black parents' primary focus is making sure their children do not get pregnant or get anyone pregnant. Sex is a risk to be managed. Girls are told, don't have sex, don't be fast, don't get pregnant. It's about negation and danger. The focus is about avoiding ruin instead of seeking or recognizing healthy connections. They don't teach you how a man should treat you. They teach you that men only want one thing and you shouldn't give it to them. Boys are told to use a condom and not come home with anybody pregnant. Focus is on avoiding legal and financial consequences, not on proper relationship conduct. So the underlying goal in the Black community is crisis prevention. And so the outcome from that is that adult relationships default to a sexual transaction framework, because that is the only framework that was explicitly discussed. This is why situationships is the default setting in Black dating. It's the adult extension of the secretive, sex-centered interactions that we were only offered when we were young. This is why courtship rituals feel foreign or performative in our community. We were never given the communal training the same way that white people are. And this is why almost every Black woman I know has lost their virginity in some type of situationship and never been in a serious relationship. And almost every white woman I know lost her virginity in a serious relationship and has never not been in a serious relationship. All the white women I know have been in consecutive serious relationships, because we were taught different social scripts. This is why there's always so much gender war conversation amongst Black people, because now we are learning the social scripts that white people have known since they were children. Now Black women want the romantic script that they have been deprived of since youth. Now they want the flowers, they want the whining and dining, they want the money, they want to be provided for. And the same goes for Black men. This is why they're constantly comparing Black women to white women, because now they know that white women perform femininity in their relationships. They perform softness and submissiveness in their relationship. And now that's what they desire. So now we're arguing back and forth about a script that never was taught to neither of us. Our social script was born out of survival. Our people were trying to survive to make sure that we can get out of our economic situation and move upwards. So they were focused on making sure we didn't have any children that would prevent us from getting there. This is why I say white supremacy and white normatives are so dangerous to our community. Because when you don't understand where these social scripts come from, it confuses us. It causes tension and friction between us. And looking to a group of people who are miserable within the social script that they created, I might add, is stupid. White women are miserable in their heteronormative relationships. And so are white men. They hate being providers. So we have two miserable groups of people who we are looking to as the blueprint, and they hate it. We have internalized a fantasy created by the bourgeoisie class. of white people. And now all the other white people who have been forced to live by it also hate it. We are going in circles here, getting nowhere fast.
Fully aware that I'm going to get a lot of hate for this, but I am so effing tired of the amount of emotional labor that comes with dating Black men. I am so tired of the lack of commitment, the lack of support, the lack of encouragement, the lack of money. Like, I don't know what to do from this point on, but I can tell you one thing. My interest in dating another Black man is like 1% at this point. They want us to be ride or dies until they get their shit together, and then they don't want to support us in return. They don't want to commit to us. They don't want to marry us, but then they want all the benefits of being a husband without actually proposing to us. I need someone who's intentional in every single aspect.
Okay, so we get it. We get that a lot of people do not like Black women. We get that there are men out there that will not date Black women. But what is it that everybody constantly has to tell us? Why do these people constantly tell us, hey, we don't date people like you? Okay? Hey, we don't like Black women. Okay. You cannot like us from over there.
As a Black female, this is the reason why I don't give a shit about men choosing to date white women, Mexicans, whatever, over Black women. I personally don't care. Why would I care unless there's some insecurity there or lack of abundance, lack of options, whatever. So for one, if you actually look at these guys who switch from Black women to non-Black women, you'd understand that they already gave them a chance. But a lot of the times, these Black women don't give them a chance. Am I saying all Black women are the same? Obviously not. It doesn't take even a retard can understand this. But it's more of like a lot of these Black women do not create a safe place, which the blame is put on both of them because a lot of Black women grow up in an environment where they learn it's not safe to trust men because most likely, if you're Black, you are more likely to grow up in a single parent home, which also reflects on your relationship. So what I'm trying to say is these Black women don't want these men. And then when these men say, okay, you know what, I accept that, I respect that, you know, you don't want to date me, so I'm just going to go for a different race. And then they're all like, oh my God, excuse me, oh my God, fucking coffee. And then they're going to start saying, you hate Black women, you know, you're so racist, which is honestly a cop-out and shows her personal damage and her emotional baggage. She is so traumatized that when she sees a Black man dating a white woman, the first thing she thinks is to tear that woman down for her race. Like, there's seriously something wrong with people who do that. Like, white women, well, white people in general, they do experience racism, but white women do get victimized by Black women. And, you know, I'm going to see the comments where people are going to judge me for my skin tone. Oh, you know, you're light skin, you're mixed, or you're white. Oh, I love that whenever people make that false accusation against me. They call me white when they have absolutely no proof to back it up. And that's what these women will do. They will make false accusations against other women. They will bully other women for trying to promote kindness, and they're proving my point even more. At the end of the day, if you want to be desirable, stop looking at your fucking race and start looking at your character. Of course, you're going to blame your race because you don't want to do the hard work. You want to take the easy way out. But the hard work is to look at yourself and be all like, what am I presenting about myself? As a society, we need to come together and make ourselves desirable instead of hating on other people who are desirable and desired by others. One-on-one coaching is in my thigh.
So statistics have shown that a large percentage of Black women remain to be unmarried, or rather they are single. And why is this? In as much as statistics are usually correct and they are scientifically proven, it doesn't tell a whole story. It just has an idea of a single story. So why are black women not married? A large percentage of them, to be precise. So I'll give my thoughts on what I think about the same, because I'm a black woman as well, and I tend to resonate with the same. To begin with, black women are usually have standards and independence. When you look at statistics, they show that black women are the most educated women compared to other groups of women. They're the most learned, and they have career opportunities and jobs. They are in their professions. So when you have all these and a man doesn't meet your standards, you tend not to get married. And again, marriage to the black women, most black women, is not usually a priority. Some of us tend to work on ourselves, tend to have to build our careers, our professions, and get something to get a hold of as women, rather than depending fully on marriage. Don't get me wrong, I didn't say that marriage is bad. I too admire marriage, but sometimes we do have different priorities and different views. Now, when it comes to the standards, for example, a black woman has raised her standards, which we have. They do have standards. They've raised their standards up there, and men don't seem to meet or align to those standards. What do you think they'll do? They say, we'd rather remain single than negotiate our boundaries, than negotiate our standards, than settle for less. That's one of among so many reasons why a large percentage of black women are remaining single. Don't get me wrong on independence. Independence ain't a problem, but sometimes independence independence can change relationships dynamics. If you're so much independent, you're so financially able, and you tend to do your things on your own, like sometimes you don't see the need to get married, you don't see the need to date a man, especially if they're not meeting you as per your standards, as per your boundaries and what you've decided you want. So another reason I feel like it's because of emotional labor and sometimes burnout. You know, black women, I'm talking from a black woman's perspective. Black women tend to outpour themselves. If we love, baby, we love. We outpour ourselves. And if you keep on laboring with love and it's not reciprocated by other party by another person, you tend to just separate yourself from that relationship, and you tend to just pour on yourself. Again, most black women have children, or they have children, or their sisters, their siblings, or they are caregivers. So they find themselves to be outpouring, and when it comes to giving love a chance, their cup is a little bit empty and they don't have anything to pour outside to other people. This is another reason. Burnout can be burnout from work, from professional. Put it this way, if a black woman is a nurse, for example, and they are working at 24/7 shift, and they just have a couple of hours to rest. Love is the last thing they think of to be in a relationship is the last thing they think of. And some of men, I didn't say all of them, men, they sometimes tend to drain someone. If you don't date the correct person, you feel like they're draining you. The love that you have, they are really taking from you without pouring. They're really taking and taking, and you remain with nothing to pour out. So, and again, sometimes being single is protection, in as much as the society has put it to be like a big thing. It's protection from you mental wellness, from being burnt out, from being drained, especially when it comes to wrong relationships. And but if you get a good person, they'll pour to you and your cup will overflow. But the opposite as well is the reason why most of us black women are choosing to remain single. So again, another reason is the stereotype. There has been a lot of stereotypes, especially with black women in the US. The black women are usually, they've put this stereotype that black women are arrogant, they are attitudey, they are hard to deal with, they are difficult. And so this the societal stereotype that has been instilled in men's head is among the reason why most men tend to not choose black women to be their wives, to be their lover. But who cares anyway? Who cares? So long as you fulfilling your purpose, maybe you're gonna get a good person. So that one shouldn't put any black woman down. But there has been many stereotype. I hope that someday we'll get to deal with the same, because it's putting a lot of black women down. And as much as we're desiring to get married, and this stereotype has been instilled in men, it ain't gonna work. Women are beautiful, black women are kind, black women got all it takes to be the best wives. And this stereotype should be gotten away with, because it's just an idea of a single story, and until you try them, you wouldn't want to go back. We are beautiful, educated, smart, standard. My fellow beautiful black women, don't be pulled down, don't be put down with this thing, with this idea that you're not married. Statistics is proving, in as much as sometimes we tend to have attitude. I think this shouldn't put you down. This shouldn't let you to not fulfill your purpose, to disregard yourself, or rather to look down on yourself. No, you're beautiful and you can be able to balance it. And being single doesn't mean being unwanted. It's rather choosing or avoiding generational pain that has been in relationship. If you've endured traumas, if you've seen your parents, your friends, or people you look up to getting divorced, there's a higher rate of divorce, and you're choosing to focus on your peace, that one doesn't mean that you're at fault, or you're a mistake, or you should look down on yourself for not getting married. If a right person comes, why not? We'll go with it. But in the meantime, choose to work on yourself, choose to be you. And until then, I'd love to know your views in the comment section. and have a good one.